So you've probably heard it a million times, right? AI is getting smarter, faster. It's just plain better than us at almost everything. We're told we're in a race that we're basically guaranteed to lose. But what if we've been playing the wrong game this whole time? In this explainer, we're going to explore a completely different kind of intelligence, one that AI just can't copy. And we're going to discover how our greatest strength might not be competing with machines, but in becoming, well, more deeply human.
All right, so here's the journey we're going on today. First up, we have to face the music. AI is absolutely winning the game we designed. Then, we'll introduce two totally different ways of thinking, what we'll call the elite versus the master. That's going to show us exactly why AI is the ultimate elite, and why that forces us to completely rethink what a good education even looks like. We'll wrap things up by looking at the surprising power of being slow, and the one huge advantage that we humans will always have.
So let's just dive right in with a big question, maybe a little uncomfortable. Is the way you think about success totally obsolete? I mean, really think about it. For generations, success was all about cramming your head with knowledge, being a master of language, having the quickest answer. But what happens when a machine can do all of that instantly and without ever making a mistake?
And that question, well, it leads us directly to our first big idea. AI is winning our game. It just is. And the reason why is because the rules have completely, totally changed. The very skills that society has prized for centuries, logic, language, remembering things fast, that's now the native language of machines.
You see, this traditional path, we're going to call it the elite path. It's all about becoming a master of symbols. It's using language, labels, and logic to define the world, to manage it, to control it. To be a professional, an expert, an elite, it meant you were a pro at this symbolic game. And here's the kicker. This is exactly the game AI was built to dominate.
So if AI is on its way to becoming the ultimate elite, what's the alternative for us? This brings us to the real heart of our conversation today, the clash between the elites and a different kind of person we're going to call the master. Now, these aren't just job titles. They're two fundamentally different ways of seeing and interacting with the world.
Okay, first let's get super clear on the elite. And look, this isn't about social status or money, it's a mindset. The elite is an expert in the description of reality. They live and breathe in a world of logic and language, and they're incredibly skilled at moving those concepts around. They're masters of the book, you could say, but not necessarily the world that the book is about.
The master, though. The master walks a different path entirely. The master goes beyond the symbols, beyond the labels, to connect directly with raw, unfiltered experience. Their wisdom isn't just a collection of facts they've memorized. No, it's something that just kind of overflows from their deep connection to reality itself. It's like what the ancient poets talked about, wanting to explain something beautiful, but realizing you've already forgotten the words because the experience itself is just too big for language to hold.
This chart really lays it all out. You've got the elite, founded on logic and labels. Then you have the master, founded on intuition and raw experience. For the elite, language is a tool, something you use for control. For the master, language is a box, and it's always too small for the truth. The elite's whole process is about manipulating symbols. The master's is about direct perception. It really boils down to this. One is chasing precise expression, and the other arrives at a kind of wordless understanding.
Okay, so where does AI slot into this picture? Well, if the elite path is all about mastering symbols, then AI is pretty much the end of that road. It is the perfect, tireless, unbeatable symbol processor. It's the ultimate elite.
So how does this ultimate elite actually work? Under all the layers of complexity and hype, the core idea is almost shockingly simple. AI eats tokens. That's it. That's the whole game. It's not out there experiencing the world. It's just processing a symbolic version of it, one little piece at a time.
So what in the world is a token? It's just a piece of language, a symbol. It could be a whole word, or even just part of one. And for an AI, the entire universe, every idea, every feeling, every object, is just a collection of these little bits of text. It doesn't know what the sun is, it only knows the word sun, and how it statistically relates to millions of other words. It lives in a world made of symbols, not a world made of atoms.
And this is absolutely crucial. It means AI will always be an elite, but it can never, ever be a master. Why? Because at its heart, it's just a probability machine, making a really good guess about what token should come next. It has no body, so it can't feel pain or joy or a cold breeze. It has no consciousness. It can only remix the library of human text it was fed. It's like a symbol alchemist, turning words into other words, but it can never have a truly original insight that's born from actual lived experience. It just can't touch reality.
So, if the very path we've defined as success is being automated,
what does that mean for us, for our kids? It forces us to completely rethink what a good education is supposed to be. Are we actually just training our children to be really good symbol processors in a game they are now guaranteed to lose?
To get our heads around this, let's look at this fascinating idea called the Einstein syndrome. It's a theory that describes these brilliant people who were really late to start talking as kids. The idea is that in some brains, the parts responsible for visual and analytical thinking are just so powerful, so dominant that they temporarily sort of crowd out the language centers.
And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. I mean, check this out. Albert Einstein, the physicist Richard Feynman, the economist Thomas Sowell, all of them were famously late talkers. It seems like their initial slowness with language was actually hiding a much deeper, nonverbal way of figuring out the world.
So you see, this points to two totally different paths. You have the language prodigy, the classic elite, who very quickly masters the system of labels that already exists. They actually think in language. But the late bloomer, the potential master, does something else. They spend their early years quietly building their own internal nonverbal model of how things really work. And only later do they start using language as a tool to try and describe that deep, original model they've already built.
Okay, so if we actually want to cultivate this deeper, master kind of intelligence, we're going to need a whole new playbook. And, funny enough, it's all about embracing the power of being slow.
Here are 2 practices to try. Number 1, delay expression. Just fight that instant urge to slap a label on everything you see. The moment you name something, you kind of stop seeing it. So silent observation, it lets a much deeper, private understanding start to grow before it gets flattened out by language. And number 2, embrace spacing out. Daydreaming is not laziness. Neurologically, it's when your brain's default mode network kicks in. And that's when it forges all these creative, non-linear connections between ideas, the exact kind of thinking a straight-line processor like an AI just can't do.
The whole point is this, and it's a huge shift in thinking. We need to reframe our goal. We are no longer training for a sprint of quick expression. AI has already won that race. We are now training for a marathon of deep, original insight.
And this brings us to our final, and honestly, our most important idea. In this new age of AI, the ultimate human advantage isn't about being faster or smarter in the old way. It all comes down to one simple choice: what we choose to align ourselves with.
Here it is. This is the big takeaway. AI aligns with language. A master aligns with the world. Just let that sink in for a second. AI is trapped in a feedback loop with the symbols humans created. Its only purpose is to make its text look more and more like our text. It can never break out of that loop to go check its work against actual reality.
This slide just lays out the 2 different missions perfectly. AI's goal is to make the map look more like other maps. A master's goal is to make their internal map look more like the actual territory. And that is the difference that changes everything.
Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In a world that is just drowning in text, drowning in symbols, and endless chatter from both people and AI, is our ability to just be silent our last true frontier. That space where we can just observe and experience things directly and connect with reality before words get in the way. That right there might just be the most valuable human skill of all.